I had this thought today following my video about Chris Brown that obviously upset a lot of women who are Chris Brown stans about the scope of roles that people play within the patriarchy. And I've identified 4 roles, and I'm sure that there's many more roles than this. And so if there's roles that you guys can think of to help add to the scope of folk that are subjected or fall within the patriarchy, and this isn't accounting for any like intersex or transgender people, so it is a little bit reductive in terms of black and white like men and women. But I was thinking that there's 4 groups that I can readily identify. There's a woman who I would consider myself to fall into this group that is outspoken at some times about subjectification. A woman that is outspoken sometimes about gender disparity, but then at other times is silent in situations where even something is feeling uncomfortable and may not sit right with me, whether it be self-preservation or just not disrupting the status quo, going along with inappropriate jokes, things like that, just to kind of go along with it and maintain whatever power I have within this subjected system. And I was thinking that this isn't necessarily like a very intersectional view, because in the same token, I think that just kind of going along with the system and not being outspoken about these things upholds my privilege racially, because I'm not being like active. I'm not actively trying to disrupt a system. And then I think that there's a man that falls on this spectrum too, and he's the man that's not necessarily like very outspoken. He may be considered an ally. He's not actively hurting women, he's not actively harming women, but he is not, again, doing anything that disrupts the status quo, and it's in terms of like what's benefiting him, in terms of like the gender relation. So he's not really sticking his neck out very far because he's like benefiting from the system as well. And then on the other side of it, I can identify, okay, there's a group of men who are perpetrators, right? They are violent, they are abusive, they think that women are second class, and they actively do things to oppress and subjugate women. But it is this 4th group of women that I can't wrap my head around, I can't understand. It is the group of women that are actively subjugated within the same system, and they may be victims of abuse themselves, they may be victims of just the general society, as well, and they are complicit in terms of justifying the abuse of the system, in terms of, so not only are they not like outspoken or taking any action against the system, they are complicit in the system and they defend abusive men. They are complicit in the way that they don't see past their own circumstance and their own existence within a patriarchal system. And I was thinking, like, okay, are they lacking critical thinking? Is that just their survival strategy, to like gain what other power they can over women and try and like subject other people? So it's like a system that's constantly promoting, take whatever bit of power you can, right? Whether it's racial power, whether it's power over other women, whether it's power over men, and those instances that you may like have the opportunity to like subjugate or hurt a man. But I really, like, I can understand someone being outright violent, like, especially if it's within a system that is benefiting them, right? So I can understand the third group of men that are just, like, outright hateful and malicious, and they're the ones, like, upholding the system. But I have difficulty understanding the mindset and understanding why women that are, like, victims of the same system help to uphold it, you know? And in a way, like, I kind of help to uphold it by just being passive or not really rejecting it. But there's women that are, like, bought into it, that are defending the system, that are actively perpetuating the system. So I don't know if all of this makes any sense, but if anyone has any ideas or thoughts, let me know, because I've really been struggling to understand why women are defending, like, Chris Brown. Why are they defending abusers? And it's not only Chris Brown, but he, like, represents, like, he just represents the crux of the issue to me. So let me know if I'm crazy or not.